Welcome to the show, everyone. I'm Simon Carver, here with author Billy Galligan. And Billy, I want to start with a number that really stops you in your tracks. Between 1845 and 1852, during the height of the Great Famine, nearly 2 million people left Ireland for the United States. That was roughly a quarter of the entire island's population, gone in a single decade.
Aye, Simon, it's a staggering figure, isn't it? You're talking about a massive traumatized population. And remember, these weren't city slickers. These were folks from places like County Mayo, where the population plummeted from over 388,000 to about 274,000 in just 10 years. They were rural, small-scale farmers who lived by the soil and the potato. Then suddenly, they're stepping off coffin ships into the dense, vertical, roaring streets of New York or Boston. It must have felt like landing on another planet altogether.
Right. From quiet fields to 5-story tenements, and they immediately became the literal physical muscle that built these expanding American cities. They didn't have capital, so they traded in sweat. They were digging the trenches, laying the gas lines, and doing the heavy lifting of modern urbanisation.
And it wasn't just city streets, Simon. They were sent out to the wilderness to do the truly punishing, dangerous work. Think about the Illinois and Michigan Canal or the early Western railroads. They were clearing forests, blasting solid rock with unstable black powder, and digging through malaria-ridden swamps. It was brutal, unregulated labor.
I read a grim saying from the canal and railroad era that really captures that brutality. An Irishman was buried under every tie. There was this cold corporate calculation where human life was treated as entirely disposable.
Ah, feck, it's the terrible truth of it. A contractor back then would think twice before overworking an expensive horse or a steam-powered shovel because those cost real money to replace. But an Irish laborer? There was a line of desperate fellas waiting at the docks every single day. If one collapsed from cholera or got crushed by a rockfall, you just hauled him out of the ditch and hired the next lad for pennies. Sure, why not? That was the attitude of the bosses. It was a meat grinder.
And that brings us to this massive paradox. The Irish are quite literally building the physical foundation of the American empire. The canals, the railways, the foundations of the town halls. Yet they are completely shut out of the society they're building.
Aye, the very hands that paved the roads weren't welcome to walk on them as equals. You had this massive nativist backlash in the mid-19th century. People looked at these impoverished Catholic immigrants and saw a threat to the very fabric of the nation. It wasn't just cold shoulders either, it was violent. You had anti-immigrant riots, churches being burned down, and then, of course, those famous signs hanging in shop windows, "No Irish need apply."
Those "No Irish need apply" signs are such a stark physical manifestation of that hostility. It's one thing to feel a general social chill, but to see it printed in black and white when you're just trying to feed your family is incredibly degrading.
It is, Simon. It tells you exactly where you stand, and when the outside world is that hostile, you don't just fold your tents and disappear. You turn inward. The Irish built their own parallel world. If the established hospitals wouldn't take you, you built Catholic hospitals, you built parochial schools, mutual aid societies, and, above all, the parish church. The parish wasn't just for Sunday Mass, it was the community hub, the employment office, and the safety net when a father didn't come home from the rail line.
It's like they constructed a city within a city just to survive the hostility of the host culture.
Exactly. They realized pretty quickly that nobody was going to hand them a leg up. If they wanted security, they had to build the scaffolding for it themselves, block by block, parish by parish.
But here is the incredible turn of this history. That physical labour, the literal digging of the sewers, the paving of the streets, the laying of the water mains, eventually transformed into a massive source of leverage.
Aye, because when you're the ones who know how the pipes fit together, and you're the ones holding the shovels, you eventually realize you have power. The Irish didn't just build the infrastructure, they figured out how to run the political machinery of the cities, they organized, they flooded the local wards, joined the labor unions, and eventually took over the municipal governments in places like Boston, New York, and Chicago.
It's a fascinating transition from physical muscle to political muscle. By the late 19th and early 20th centuries, the children of those famine survivors weren't just digging the source. They were running the police departments, presiding as judges, and sitting in the mayor's office.
It's a beautiful bit of poetic justice, isn't it? The very people who were deemed unfit for American society ended up defining the modern American city. And today, when you walk through downtown Boston, or ride the subway in New York, or look at the lakefront in Chicago, you are looking at a monument.
A monument in stone and steel. Every curbstone, every tunnel, every bridge is a silent testament to the millions who were once despised, but became the literal bedrock of the new world.
Aye, they wanted them to build the cities and then disappear, but instead the Irish stayed, and they made those cities their own.
That's a perfect place to leave it. Thank you, Billy, and thank you all for listening. We'll see you next time.
Good man, Simon. Safe travels, everyone.